Before this video starts, I just want to give a massive shout out to all my channel members. If you want to receive a shout out, then become a channel member today and you'll be shown on screen like all these other channel members here. Anyways, enjoy the video. In version 14.7, a brand new Uber has been added to the Girls and Monsters set, this being Flame Mage Sidmi. This Uber comes equipped with red and floating targeting, with slow and resist, as well as Sage Slayer, a Conjure, and weaken immunity. In this video, I want to go over her and see how well she can perform in her roles as a red floating CC tank. The footage of Sidmi is at level 40. To get us started, I think the best place to start is by looking at her stats. At level 30, she sports a rather bulky 153,000 base health. Thanks to her resist against red and floating, this effective health becomes 765,000 HP. Continuing the theme of the monster gals, she sports a multi-hit, with each hit dealing 21,250 damage. If both hits land, she's dealing 42,500 damage. This gives her a DPS stat of 5,568. She is capable of slowing red and floating enemies for 6 seconds. Sidmi is a mid-range tank CC hybrid unit. Compared to some other red and floating tanks, she stands out as being one of the tankiest in the game. In fact, she shares the exact same health stat as an untalented Cat Machine Mark III. However, unlike Cat Machine, who is a melee tank who holds the line with bulk and raw damage, Sidmi uses her bulk as a means to hold ground when a push occurs and prevents pushes herself with her slow. This slow has an effective 75% chance to occur across the two multi-hits. Even if only one hit activates the slow, she sports an impressive uptime of 78%. If both hits slow, this becomes an uptime of 92%. This gives her the ability to control a wide group of red and floating enemies with a consistent enough of a slow. With the range stat of 360, she could easily keep most aggressive threats at bay, such as Bun Bun variants, Cyclones, Boars, Brawlos, Shy Boys, and even Dr. KO thanks to her Sage Slayer. Her damage isn't the best, but it at least is something for the role that she does, as 42,000 damage for a CC unit is enough to deal long-lasting chip damage. Her raw health also allows her to stall out higher ranged enemies like Neandem, Professor A, and Klee1. For the latter, Sidmi's weaken immunity also ensures she can still deal her full damage, being able to chip away at this Sea Angel. However, in terms of her targets, there isn't actually much that weakens, as Hanya, Calamari, and Pavzerker are the only other enemies that aren't event or collab enemies that she targets that can actually weaken. The lack of some immunities can make it a bit tricky to use her against some of her targets, like Red Energy and DNL. The former's knockback and surge will constantly juggle her, and the latter's freeze wave spam will prevent her from doing anything besides acting as a pure brick wall, though enemy support will easily prevent this. Sidmi is also a Sage Slayer, giving her some extra flexibility against Sages due to the CC resist she gets, as well as being able to tank more hits from them. At level 30, she sports an effective 306,000 health against Sages. Pair this with her actual targets, and this health shoots up to 1.53 million HP. At level 50, this translates to 2.4 million HP. She sports 51,000 damage at level 30 against Sage enemies with 6,600 DPS. As mentioned earlier, her Sage Slayer allows her to bypass the CC reduction Sage enemies get, making an aggressive threat like Dr. KO easier to stall. For Broly, this mainly helps in allowing her to not stay frozen as long. Now, seeing as she's a Sage Slayer with red and floating targeting, it is important to ask, how does she fare against the current Zero Legends bosses? For Soractis, she serves as a decent enough tank, being able to deal solid long-term damage in a single life cycle. At level 50, you can expect her to last around a minute or so. Her cooldown of 134 seconds does mean that you'll be going good stretches of time where you won't have her active. This is somewhat remedied if paired with Carpenter, who could stall Soractis just as efficiently and could serve as a way to prevent Doge Darks from chewing at her health pool. As for Newton, she can stall them out for a good while, as Newton attacks way slower than Soractis. She can even stall the low Bun Bun. However, her defenses easily fall apart if an Angelic Gory is on the field. The last part of her kit is her Conjure. Conjure is a bonus on any unit that gets it, as it provides free guaranteed damage alongside a fairly powerful one-time CC effect. In her case, this is a weaken that lasts for 6.67 seconds or 8 seconds depending on the trait. This window of time allows her to absorb even more damage from her targets. For Sages, the weaken time goes to 2 or 2.4 seconds. While it isn't that long, it's still long enough to provide some short-term value. The damage alone is always nice, as spirits deal 45,000 damage at level 30. Also, with her having a short standing range, it allows her to hit enemies in the back, seeing as spirits spawn 150 range behind the summoner, giving her spirit at least 290 range of piercing. So, how good is Sidmi? Well, she does a good enough job of tanking and providing CC against red and floating enemies, but doesn't do anything exceptional. She can sometimes struggle in mixed stages, especially in stages where the backline threat isn't one of her two targets, but against the more aggressive frontline enemies that she targets, she does a good enough job at stalling them. As a Sage Slayer, she can help tank and provide solid damage against Soractes, but falls easily in Newton's stage thanks to Angelic Gory. Slowing Dr. KO is also a nice bonus. With all that said, I want to thank you for watching this analysis of Sidmi. If you thought this insight was interesting, then be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy Battle Cats content, and comment down below your thoughts on them. I'd love to hear what you all think of them. Also, shout out to the following channel members: Dr. Deadly, Gamet, Ian Dean, Ninja Stars, Virus Opero, Just a Shark, Potato King, Gross Cat the Ultra, Tentacle Gaming, Etsushi, King Wolf, Janik Altenberg, Clamorous, Barely Grover, Jade Rabbit, Mustafa, and Re Gaming for being silver members or higher. If you want to receive a shout out like these channel members here, then become a silver member or higher today. Becoming a channel member supports what I do in a way that helps keep the lights on and allows me to continue making content for all of you to watch. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day.